Hello everybody.
Hi there.
Welcome. Lovely to see new faces. Welcome. You're more than welcome, as everybody is. For your benefit, I'll give you the quick intro. So this is the Deal Mindfulness group. We get together every week, and it's all very casual and all very informal. And the general format is that there's a couple of exercises, 2 or 3 exercises that we'll do over the course of the meeting. And every week there's a topic, and we have a bit of a chat around that topic, and it sort of relates to mindfulness and comes back to mindfulness. We used to do it where everybody sat in the pews and I stood at the front and spoke, but it kind of felt a bit like a sermon. and that's not what it's about. It's about coming together as a group and everybody, joining in as much or as little as you feel comfortable. There's no obligation. And the aim is that as the more people come, the more you are able to develop your own mindful practice. So I don't run it like a program where there's a rigid program that people follow. It's more about giving people a few simple tools and exercises that they can utilise in their day-to-day goings on. Do you know anything about mindfulness at all? A little. Well, it stems from Buddhist practice, so its roots are from Buddhism. But what's nice about mindfulness is it's completely non-religious, so anybody can practice it, whether you're Christian, Muslim, atheist, agnostic, whatever. And it's quite meditative. But I suppose my take on it is that if you are a Buddhist monk and can sit on your rock by the waterfall, meditating for hours on end, then fantastic. And I'm sure everybody else here, and you're the same, we don't have time to sit on rocks by waterfalls meditating for hours because we have busy lives and families and jobs and all that kind of stuff that gets in the way. But I believe that throughout the day there are many opportunities to be mindful for short periods of time. If you can do a couple of minutes here and a couple of minutes there and a minute there and a few seconds there, gradually, if you're able to do that, that then adds up to an hour a day or even more, and ultimately you then get to the point where you spend all of your day being mindful. And that's what I hope that people are able to get from this. And also it's nice to meet as a group. I do a few group things. In fact, I was doing one yesterday, and they said how beneficial it was to meet as a group. There were people there that had been to other ones that I'd done and subsequently tried to do things individually. And they said it's a lot easier if you've got that group element to it, kind of cheesy one that gives you, buoys you one a little bit. So that's why we do it, and people just dip in and out as they are able to. So some weeks people can't make it and they don't come, and that's fine. So it's as and when. There's no pressure. There's no obligation. It's all very free and easy. Okay. So without any further ado, the topic for this week is, well, when I posted it on Facebook earlier, and there were 2. I was undecided whether it was going to be luck or breakdowns, and I plumped for luck. Yay! Which it would seem is the popular choice. We might do breakdowns another week. So yeah, luck, or look, as I would say, from being from up north, luck for you southern people, is the topic for this week. But what we'll do is we'll start with an exercise, and then we'll talk a bit around that topic and see where we go. As people that have been before you know, I don't really prepare anything. I have done, and then I just deviate from it anyway, so there's not much point in me sitting here with notes. It tends to, we just see what happens in the moment. Because that's what mindfulness is all about. It's about being in this moment in time right now. The past is gone, we can't do anything about the past, we can't change the past, we can't unsay things that have been said or do anything differently. The past is gone, finished. Future hasn't happened. Can't. Whilst we might make plans for the future, that act of planning actually takes place in the present moment. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. And yet we spend a great deal of time thinking about, worrying about, being anxious about things that have happened in the past, things that might possibly happen in the future. And it causes a great deal of stress and anxiety, and prevents people from being able to enjoy being alive in this moment in time right now, which is the only moment that we have to experience being alive. And that's what's so great and so fantastic about having a life and being alive, is being able to enjoy it and experience it. And that is sort of, I suppose, mindfulness in a nutshell. But we'll begin with there's an exercise that we regularly do, which is engaging the senses. So it's our senses that tell us what's happening in this moment, what's happening around us. So we'll begin by doing that. So to start with, we just have a look around and we see what we can see in this moment. And it really is just about being aware of vision and sight and seeing. And then once we've had a little look around, you may close your eyes if you wish, and you can bring your awareness to the things that you can feel. So you can be aware of the fact that you have a head resting on top of your neck, which is attached to your shoulders. And maybe be aware of any tension that you're holding in the neck and the shoulders. It's a common place to hold it. So in being aware of your neck and your shoulders, aware of any tension that may be there, and just allowing that to release. And becoming aware of gravity pulling down through the spine and pulling your bottom down into the seat, the pressure of your bottom in the seat of the chair. Aware of your legs, the bend at the knee, down to your feet in contact with the floor. And then next you can become aware of the clothes against your skin. And your legs, and your back, torso, chest. And you may also be able to be aware of the faint movement of air on your hands and on your face. And then next we become aware of smell. And we're not trying to smell anything in particular, just moving our awareness to the sense of smell. And taste, aware of the taste in your mouth at this moment in time. And then we become aware of sound, aware of listening. And we spend the next few moments just listening to sound as it happens moment by moment. And as you listen, you may find that your mind wanders. thoughts and ideas come into your head, and that's okay. That's what brains do. But when that happens, just be aware that your mind has wandered and bring your attention back to just listening to sound. And it doesn't matter how many times you have to do that. Once, twice, 20 times. Just bring the attention and the awareness back to listening. Be aware of and enjoy the stillness that there is in this moment. And be aware of and enjoy the stillness of mind that we can have by just listening and being aware of listening. You can open your eyes. And just remember, we enjoyed the sound of the lorry there outside, and it reminded me of yesterday. I did a session yesterday with a group, and it was in their office, and it's on it's like on an industrial estate, and there were lorries coming and going and reversing, and so the beeps are going off, and the men are outside clanging the doors and all the rest of it. And it was quite good because it reminded me of the fact. It reminded me of when I first encountered that exercise at a class that I did 20 years ago. And they taught us that exercise, and the lady that ran it said to us, "Oh, you must practice that every day." And every week we'd go back and she'd say, "Have you all done the exercise?" And people would say, "Oh, well, I couldn't do it because there was too much noise going off, and it was all, there were roadworks outside, and I just couldn't get any peace and quiet to sit and do the exercise." And the lady would get quite annoyed with them and say, "You're missing the point. It's not about peace and quiet. It's just about accepting and being aware of whatever is happening in this present moment." And that's the thing about mindfulness. It's not about solitude and peace and quiet and escaping from the real world. It's about embracing it and being aware of it and planting yourself slap bang in the middle of it and allowing yourself to experience it and to be aware of it and to enjoy it, and to just accept it, because it is, you know, life does have its ups and downs, especially if you go on holiday to France. And
doing that 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, there you go. Good luck. So yeah, right. Look, is anybody here lucky? Does anybody consider themselves to be a lucky person? No. No, nobody's lucky. Well,
I wouldn't consider myself to be unlucky,
no.
but I wouldn't say that I'm particularly like, you know,
You're not, because there are some people, aren't they, and they say, and they fall in, what's it, and come out smelling of roses.
yeah.
You know, and there do seem to be people that we know that are like that. Just seem
I
to
suppose it just depends what
enjoy.
you consider to be lucky or
Yeah.
not.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it's a state of mind in that way as well.
It
isn't
can
Yeah.
be.
It's just
Yeah.
if you give, and I mean, I feel nice if I give someone something.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good, but often this sort of karma comes back.
It
as
does.
well.
Yeah, it can do.
Yeah.
It can. There is that element of getting out what you put in. Yes. I mean, my reason for presenting this as a topic and thinking about it is because I suppose there are several different facets to it, different aspects to it. You know, some people may think of themselves as being lucky in the sense of being grateful. You know, I consider myself to be lucky. I have, I have a lovely wife, and I have beautiful children, and you know, I have a nice home to live in, and there's food on the table, and all the essentials that we need. So in that sense, I guess I'm lucky. There are others that are certainly less well off than I am in that sense. So, but does that make me lucky? I'm certainly grateful to be in that position. Whether that makes me lucky or not, I don't know.
I think the word is misused quite a lot.
Yeah,
I think you could, luck is toss of a coin.
can be.
Yeah, I actually
Good
Can be.
fortune.
looking at it like as if it's something that you don't actually apply any of your mind to it. That's how I see lucky. Like something that is nothing to do with you. It's just,
Well, it can be.
that's how I see
It
it.
could be. I mean, there were two phrases that came to mind in terms of thinking about the various dimensions of it. And the first is a quote from the golfer Gary Player, who rather famously said, "The more I practice, the luckier I get." Which kind of fits in with what you were saying about what you give, what you put into it, you kind of get back. You know, the more practice he put into his golf, the more good fortune he seemed to experience. And whether it actually was luck, probably not. It's down to his skill and his ability, and it's just the fact that it became, you know, he didn't, because he put in the practice, he didn't have to apply himself so much. It just became natural. And so, and because he was just doing it naturally, it seemed to be, you know, almost good fortune that his shots landed in the right place. But it wasn't. It's because he was a bloody good golfer because he put in the practice.
Should only create his own luck.
That's it. Because that was the other thing that I was just about to say. The other aspect is you say you make your own luck. Fortune favours the brave. Fortune favours the bold. Which is, you know, that's the little mantra that I use. Certainly when I'm looking for a parking space. When I drive into Deal, I think, I'll make my own luck. I'm going to go down Stanhope Road because there's going to be a space on there just outside the Astor Theatre. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I make my own luck. There will be a space there for me, and you know, sometimes there is.
Attraction, isn't it? Though.
I was just thinking that. I just believe I see things.
But that's a bit. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's not luck. It's about being positive. Maybe it's not. It's luck. It's having a positive aspect.
What does luck actually have written in the dictionary?
You know what? I didn't look.
I was so used to using the words, I never even
Yeah.
thought to look it up. I've never looked it up.
No.
Well, there's a bit of homework for everybody. Go home and pull out your Oxford English and look it up.
You could win a lot of money, and you could get a lot of begging letters, so you could say, I'm lucky I won the money,
Yeah.
but it could create you a lot of misfortune.
Well, there's a story, whether is it a Chinese proverb? It's certainly I suppose a Buddhist story, and it's one that I have recounted before this group, but it was a long time ago, so many of you may not have heard it. And there is a farmer, and he has a horse, as many farmers do. They have horses, and the horse escapes. It gets out of its pen or field or wherever it is being kept, and it legs it. And the other villagers say to the farmer, "Oh, that's so unlucky. You've lost your horse." And he just said, "Maybe." And then a few days later, the horse finds its way back to the farm. And it comes back to the farm with a few wild horses in tow. It's gone off and it's made friends. And it's brought these horses back. 2 or 3 wild horses return to the farm. So the farmer thinks, okay, brings them into the paddock. And so now he's gone from having just the one horse to having 4 or 5 horses. And the villagers go, "Wow, that was lucky." And the farmer says, "Maybe." And the farmer has a son. And the son starts trying to break in the wild horses, domesticate them so that they can be used on the farm. And one day he's on the back of one of these wild horses, and he gets thrown off the horse, breaks his leg. Laid there on the ground. Incapacitated, no use to the farmer now, can't work. And all the villagers turn to him and say, "Oh, that was unlucky, wasn't it?" And the farmer says, "Well, maybe." Because then the next day, the army turn up, the conscript squad turn up, looking to enlist young men to join the army and go off and fight. And they've heard that this farmer has a young son who would make a perfect soldier. So they turn up to enlist him in the army, take one look at him laid there with his broken leg, and go, "Oh, we can't take you. You're no use to us. You best stay here," and they go on their way. And the villagers will say, "Well, that was lucky." And the farmer says, "Well, maybe." Bless you. So that as a story, I guess, illustrates that luck is subjective to an extent. It's how you view it. If you want to view a particular situation as being lucky or unlucky, then you can. But it also illustrates the fact that a situation or an incident that we may wish to label as being unfortunate, unlucky, can have a flip side to it, something that off the back of it that turns out to be good fortune.
Every cloud is a silver lining.
Every cloud. So the farmer in that story, I would suggest, was probably being a very mindful person.
Not
Because
labeling it.
he didn't label it. He didn't agree with the villagers and say, "Oh yeah, that was a fantastic piece of good luck." He just accepted it for what it was, an event that happened. Neither good nor bad, just an event. Because he kind of knew that there would be subsequent moments and subsequent events which may or may not be influenced by those things that were precursors to it. So, if you want to be lucky, I don't know, do we want to be lucky? I mean, I'm sure we'd all perhaps like to win the lottery and have all our dreams come true and be able to buying nice cars and
There's no
drives.
satisfaction in that, though. I don't think so. If you're just handing stuff, I don't think so. If you're just handing stuff on a plate, it's
But then
nice to feel like you've earned it.
And it has its downside, as Jess alluded to. People win the lottery, and you go, lucky so and so, and then they're miserable as sin because they lose all their friends, and they think, oh great, I can give up work, but all their friends are at work, and so they they become lost.
They probably didn't share anything with their friends then.
Probably not. Probably not. Well, there's that the drama series, isn't there, on ITV, which I believe is now in its third series about the lottery winners, and that story is always full of drama. And
Syndicate.
The Syndicate.
Oh, right.
It's quite good, but that's always full of drama, and they win the lottery, and then of course it's not a happy story. And I'm sure it's based on truth to an extent. So does being mindful make you change does it change your propensity for good fortune?
I think at least you're not going to put so much emphasis of unlucky.
It does.
And I think that is something that...
You're less likely to dwell on. You're less likely to dwell on those events which you may consider to be
and talk
bad.
about them and go on about them.
Yeah. And it can certainly make you more grateful for being alive. And feel lucky and feel blessed in that respect. And there was something else that I was just going to say. No, it's all right. It's not your fault. It's my stupid sieve-like mind that causes things to fall away. No, it's gone. It's gone. It's completely gone. Evaporated. There's certainly a positivity that comes to it, and positive people tend to. If you look at those people that you know and those around you, those that have a seemingly negative outlook, generally something bad is always. If you want to label things as being bad, they always have a sorry story to tell. There's always some problem, some issue. Whereas the positive people, they kind of eschew, they seem to attract. I'm reminded now of do you remember the Fast Show? That used to be on the telly.
Yeah.
There was a character in that, and he was very matter of fact, and he would just stand there and he would say, I went to so and so and I bumped into this person and they invited me to do this and this happened and that, which was nice.
Yeah.
Do you remember him? And he always talks
Wasn't he
about.
always in the kitchen or something?
Yeah, he's always just sort of standing around really nonchalantly, just sort of chopping a few veg up.
Yeah.
And then we got invited to go back to the ambassador's house, and we did this and we did that, and I was awarded the prize for this, that, which was nice.
Yeah, that was good.
And it would be nice if it would be nice if it was always like that. But I think you can make your own. You can make your own good fortune, if you want to call it that, by having that positive outlook and positive viewpoint.
Half full and half empty.
Yeah, kind of. But a lot of that comes from being non-judgmental. It comes from being like the farmer and as much as possible choosing not to label things, to be accepting. Because that's what the negative people don't do they? They don't accept. They find it difficult to accept that bad things happen, and so they like to constantly bleat on about it. And those people where you just know the worst thing you can say is, "Oh, how are you?" Because you're going to spend the next 10 minutes listening to, Okay. We'll do another exercise. Well, I see if I can think of something else to talk about. Lucky viewpoint. We'll breathe. Breathing is critical to. This is. Breathing is critical with mindfulness because nothing brings you to the present moment more effectively and efficiently than being aware of your breath. Your breath happens in this moment. You can't breathe in the past, you can't breathe in the future. Each breath happens here and now. That's one thing. Second thing is your breath is absolutely connected to being alive. If you're not breathing, then you're not being alive. And so that it serves as a very useful reminder almost to the fact that you are alive and that you have life and it's wonderful and marvellous. And so learning to be aware of the breath instantly transports you into the present moment, enables you to be mindful like that. And what's good about it, if you cultivate it as part of a mindful practice, is that you can practice it anywhere. Whatever you're doing, whatever situation you're in, you can just turn your awareness to your breath. All throughout the day, from the moment you wake up in the morning to the moment just before you fall asleep, whether you're at work, on the bus, whatever, going shopping, whatever you may be doing, there are opportunities for you to just be aware of the breath. It's always there, and it's free. It's in endless supply. You don't have to pay for it. It's just there, always present, always available to act as just the anchor. It's almost like the metronome. Your breath is like this metronome, this anchor that almost sits behind your being. And it helps to remind yourself and enable you to be aware of the fact that you are a human being. You're not a human doing, you're not a human thinking. You don't have to spend your entire day thinking and doing stuff. It is okay now and again to just stop and just be. Just be alive. Be a human being that is just sat, breathing, or standing, breathing, walking, breathing. Just being. So we always do a bit of breathing, and it's the one thing that is so easy. Simple. I'll say simple rather than easy. It's simple to do. It's not always easy because it requires a little bit of. It requires practice. It's I suppose it's like what Gary Player says. The more I practice, the luckier I get. The more I practice being mindful, the better at it I will be. The luckier I will be from a mindful perspective. Okay. So you may close your eyes if you wish. You don't have to. And we will begin by just being aware of the breath at the nostrils. And just follow the breath in and out. And as before, when we were listening, if your mind wanders, it doesn't matter. Just acknowledge the fact that the mind has wandered and bring the awareness back to the breath. And so for the next few, just aware of the breath at the nostrils and the air entering and leaving the body. And now you can move your awareness back slightly to the back of the throat and be aware of the breath behind the soft palate, the back of the throat, and aware of the air moving up and down as you breathe in and breathe out. awareness down a little further to the chest. Become aware of the movement of the chest as it rises and falls with each breath as it happens, moment by moment. And then bring the awareness down further to the diaphragm. And again, feel the movement there, right at the base of your breath. And as a next step, you can then connect the whole system together. So you can become aware of the air entering the body at the nostrils, down through the throat, through the chest, right down to the diaphragm, and then out. So the diaphragm pushes up, you expel the air up and out through the nose. And just follow that now for the next few breaths. Invite the bowl to sound as you follow that breath, moment by moment. Now you can become aware of the three component parts of the breath. We breathe in, we breathe out, and then there is a pause. We breathe in, we breathe out, and pause. And for the next few breaths, just really focus your awareness on that pause. Be aware of how still the body is. Be aware of the peace that exists within that pause. As you rest your awareness in that pause between breaths, you are not doing anything, you are not thinking anything, you are just being alive, being still, being at peace. Accepting and enjoying that moment. For the next few breaths, follow the breath in, follow the breath out, and then allow yourself to rest your awareness and pause. You can breathe in and feel alive. Breathe out and smile at life. And then allow that smile to just dissolve into the pause between breaths. Breathe in and feel alive. Breathe out and smile. Dissolve that smile into the pause. When you're ready, you may open your eyes. Thank you, everybody. So those exercises those two that we did today, you can use excerpts of that, elements of that. If you want to sit and go with the first one, with the senses, if you want to sit and go through the whole thing, then great. But you don't have to. You can bring your awareness to your senses at any point. When you go in the shower in the morning, you can become aware of what it feels like to wash your hair, or the sound of the water as it drips on you. When you walk into the car, be aware of what it feels like to walk, look at the sky, be aware of the sounds that you can hear. All throughout the day there are opportunities to just be aware of your whatever sense you choose to. And the same with your breath. You can be aware of your breath for one breath, two breaths. I sometimes sit and just be aware of my breath for 10-15 minutes. But more often than not, I'll just do a short burst, lots of it all throughout the day, because it adds up. The more you do little things like that, the more you can bring your awareness away from the noise that happens in our heads when our brains are going all the time, with that general chatter. The more often you bring your awareness to the present moment, either what's happening around you or your breath and what's happening inside of you, then that's practice, that's mindful practice. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the more you get to enjoy that, that when we're sat and you're breathing and you just rest in that peaceful pause, because it feels nice. I hope you agree, it feels quite calming and nice and peaceful. And the more you do that, the more benefit you get and the easier it becomes. Great. Well, there we go. Thank you, everybody,
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks very
for coming.
much, Jim.
And I'll see you the next time I see you.